The evening Daniel came back felt like a dream that refused to end. We sat in the kitchen drinking tea while the rain tapped softly on the window. My mother smiled, her hands folded quietly in her lap. "So," she said, "how long will you stay this time, Daniel?" He looked at me before he answered. "Maybe forever, if Maria doesn't get tired of me." I laughed. "I never got tired of your stories." He smiled. "Good, because I brought many more." From that day, Daniel became a part of our home. Every morning, he came to the bookstore with me, and every evening we sat near the sea. Sometimes we didn't talk at all. We just listened to the water and the wind. Silence with him didn't feel empty. It felt peaceful. One afternoon, he said, "Maria, I want to show you something." He opened his bag and took out a notebook full of pages. On the first page was written, "The Empty Chair." I looked at him with surprise. "You wrote about it?" He nodded. "It's our story. The story of you, your father, and how love never leaves. I want to make it a book for English learners. Maybe it will help them feel what we felt." My eyes filled with tears. "That's the most beautiful idea," he said softly. "It's also my thank you to you and to your father, whom I never met but somehow know. We spent many nights working on the book together. We wrote in simple English, line by line. Sometimes I read aloud, and he corrected the grammar. Sometimes he read, and I fixed the feelings. Our little town became part of the story. The sound of waves, the smell of coffee, the quiet street, and the wooden chair. One night, after we finished another chapter, Daniel looked at the sky and said, "Do you believe people we love can hear us from the other world?" I nodded. "Yes, I believe so. Every time I look at the chair, I feel my father listening." He took my hand gently. "Then tonight he knows how proud he should be." That was the first night we held hands, and everything felt right. There was no rush, no fear, just warmth. Weeks passed. Our book slowly took shape. We named each story inside after a small lesson my father had taught me. Kindness never dies. The gift of patience. The power of small words. One evening, my mother joined us while we were editing. She looked at the pages and smiled. "It feels like your father is writing with you." When the book was finally finished, Daniel said, "Let's publish it online. Maybe people around the world can learn English through these stories." I agreed, and we uploaded it. We didn't expect much, but after 2 months, thousands of learners had read it. Many wrote comments like, "This story helped me learn English and remember my grandfather." Every message made me cry a little. I realized that love and words can travel farther than we ever imagine. One Sunday, Daniel suggested, "Let's visit your father's favorite place, the old lighthouse." I smiled. Yes, he loved that place. We walked there hand in hand. The sea was calm, the sun golden. When we reached the top, Daniel placed the notebook on the stone wall and said, "Let's leave it here for someone to find. Maybe it will inspire another lost heart." I agreed, but I tore one page from it and kept it in my pocket. The first page with the words, "The Empty Chair." We stood together watching the horizon. Daniel whispered, "Maria, do you remember the first day we met? You helped me find a book." "Yes," I said, smiling. "Love letters from the sea." He laughed softly. "And now we have written our own." Days turned into months again. Our lives became peaceful and full. We taught English together at a small community center. The children loved listening to our stories. Every child who came to learn sat once on the wooden chair. I told them, "When you sit here, remember, you are loved and you can learn anything." One little boy asked, "Teacher, who made this chair magic?" I smiled. My father. The boy touched the chair with wonder. Then your father must be an angel now. After class, Daniel said, You see, Maria, the chair is teaching more than we ever could. I nodded. Yes, it teaches love without words. Then one evening, everything changed again. My mother became very ill. She grew weaker each day, and soon she couldn't come to the kitchen anymore. I spent every night beside her bed, reading her our stories. She smiled and said, Your voice sounds like your father's. He would be proud. One night she whispered, When I go, keep the chair safe. It holds our family. Don't talk like that, Mama, I said with tears. She smiled gently. Promise me. I promise. 2 weeks later, she passed away quietly in her sleep. The house felt empty again. 2 chairs were empty now, my father's and my mother's. I thought I had learned to live with loss, but pain came back heavier than before. Daniel stayed beside me every moment. He cooked, cleaned, and held me when I cried. He said, Maria, your parents gave you love, not sadness. Don't close your heart. I nodded, though I couldn't speak. At the funeral, the sky was gray, but flowers were bright. After everyone left, I sat on the wooden chair near my mother's photo. I whispered, Now both of you sit in the sky, watching me. I'll keep the light on. For days, I could not enter the kitchen. Then one morning, Daniel said, Maria, come sit with me. I followed him. There, beside the empty chair, he had placed a small, new one, carved from the same kind of wood. He said, This is for your future. The old chair is for your memories. And I cried and hugged him. Thank you. From that day, we kept both chairs side by side, one for the past, one for tomorrow. A year later, Daniel asked me to marry him. He didn't kneel. He simply sat on the old chair and said, Maria, can I be part of this family's story forever? I said yes through tears. Our wedding was small but full of warmth. We placed both chairs near us during the ceremony. The priest asked, Why 2? I answered, One for those who taught us love, one for the love that will continue. Everyone in the church felt touched. Some cried quietly. We began our married life in the same house by the sea. Every morning, Daniel made coffee and placed 1 cup beside the empty chair. Not out of sadness, but as a habit of gratitude. He said, Good morning, sir. Smiling to my father's memory. Years passed gently. We had a daughter, little Sophia. She had my eyes and Daniel's calm smile. When she was old enough to talk, she asked, Mama, whose chair's that? I lifted her onto it and said, It belonged to your grandfather. Now it's for everyone we love. She laughed. Then it's a big chair. Every night she sat on it while we told her bedtime stories. She called it the story chair. When Sophia started school, she told her friends, My house has a magic chair that listens. Some children laughed, but one day her teacher came to see it. She sat on the chair and said, It really does feel special. Soon the chair became famous in our little town. People visited to sit for a moment, to pray, to remember someone they loved. We never said no. We welcomed everyone. Daniel sometimes joked, Maybe one day the chair will need a schedule. I laughed. Love never sleeps, I said, so it's always open. Then one evening, when I was 40, Daniel got sick. At first it seemed like a cold, but the doctors said it was serious. We fought the illness together, but his body grew weak. He said one night, Maria, Do you remember when you told me the chair listens? Yes. Then promise me something. When I'm gone, don't let it stay empty. Let it keep telling stories. I held his hand tightly. You will not go. He smiled weakly. Everyone goes, my love, but stories don't. A month later, he passed away peacefully in his sleep. The next morning, the sea looked calm, almost too calm. I sat before the two chairs, the old one and the one he had made, and I whispered, now both are empty again. But something inside me changed. I felt no anger at life, only deep gratitude. I realized that the empty chair is never truly empty if we fill it with kindness, memory, and love. I opened our old notebook and wrote new lines. Some people sit in our hearts forever. We see them in every sunrise, hear them in every wave, and feel them in every empty chair. Years went by. Sophia grew up, studied, and became an English teacher. She loved stories just like us. She told her students, my parents taught me English through love. When she got married, she said, Mama, I want to take one of the chairs to my new home. I smiled. Which one? She touched the old one gently. This one. It carries everyone's blessings. I agreed. Take it, but promise to keep it open for someone who needs it. After she left, the house was quiet again, but not lonely. I kept the newer chair and placed it near the window. Every morning I sat there, writing letters to my family in heaven and to Daniel in the stars. One evening, I heard a knock at the door. A young woman stood there, holding a camera. Are you Maria, the storyteller? She asked. Yes, I'm making a film about things that give people hope. May I record your story about the empty chair? I said yes. She filmed me talking about love, loss, and learning. When the film was shared online, people from all over the world wrote to me. They said the story helped them heal. Some wrote, I lost my husband too, or I have a chair like yours. I realized that our story had become everyone's story. Now I am old. My hair is white, my hands soft and slow. The sea still sings every morning. The chair still stands near the window, shining in the sunlight. Sometimes I talk to it aloud. Papa, Mama, Daniel, Sophia, you're all here with me. When children from the neighborhood visit, I let them sit on it. They laugh, draw pictures, tell secrets. I listen and smile. The circle continues, and when the evening light turns golden, I whisper, thank you, empty chair. You taught me that love is never gone. It just changes its seat. Hey friends! If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more amazing content. Thanks for watching!